Ninh explains the rules of Speedway. The object of the race is to be the first to cross the finish line after completing 4 laps around the track. Motorcycle Speedway, commonly referred to as just Speedway, is a motorcycle racing sport that is contested on an oval dirt track that measures a minimum of 260 metres and a maximum of 425 metres. Races are known as heats. Up to 6 riders take part in any one heat, but is usually contested with 4 riders for safety reasons. Riders will drive a specially modified motorcycle in order to corner a dirt track at high speeds. There are strict rules as to what a bike can and cannot do, and I'll explain more on that later. To start the race, riders will take their positions in one of the lanes at the start line. Each rider will be designated a colour which corresponds to their position on the track. Once riders are in position, a gate will lift and the race begins. Riders will ride and power slide their bikes around the track in as quick a time as possible. Heats are usually contested in 4 laps, and the rider who crosses the finish line after 4 laps first wins the heat and receives 3 points. The rider in second place gets 2 points, third place gets 1 point, and anyone else scores 0. If you fail to finish for any reason, such as your bike bursting into flames, you also score nothing. The most common format is the team competition. 2 riders of each team will contest against 2 riders of another team. The home team wears red and blue helmet caps, the away team yellow and white. A team competition is contested over 15 heats, and the team with the most points after 15 heats wins. In an individual contest, the rider who has the most points after a designated number of heats is the winner. Easiest sport ever, right? Not so fast there, friend. There's a few other things that you'll need to know before contesting in or watching Speedway. For example, motorcycles. As mentioned before, the rules of what a bike can and cannot do is strict. I'm not going to cover everything here, but the most salient points are: the bike must weigh at least 77 kilograms. The bike must be fueled with methanol with no additives. Bikes must not have any performance aids such as telemetry, superchargers or turbochargers. The bikes must have guards fitted over the engine's moving parts and other guards and deflectors for safety. And bikes only have 1 gear and must not have any brakes. You heard correctly, these bikes do not have brakes. This results in a motorcycle that can do 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds on dirt. Broadsliding. This is the technique used to corner the bike around the track. This involves tilting the bike, pointing the wheel of the bike in the direction of travel whilst using the back wheel to get as much traction on the track as possible. The rider's leg can also be used for balance. This is an incredibly difficult skill to master. Disqualification. You can be disqualified for a number of reasons, such as failing to turn up at the start line on time, not getting to the start line under the bike's own power, or using a bike that breaks the rules. Disqualified riders are usually excluded from the heat. Strategy. It might seem like a trivial race, but there's a lot of things to consider when trying to win a speedway heat. Some parts of the track may be softer or harder than others. It's up to you as the rider to figure out what the best line is, as it's different for every track. Then, you have to outsmart the other riders. Do you make a run for the line early, or wait for them to go wide so that you can take the lead? That is up to you. A faster bike isn't necessarily a better bike. It all depends on what your strategy is when trying to win the heats. Ice Speedway. In cold countries such as Russia, Sweden and Finland, Speedway is contested on snow and ice. It's almost exactly the same, except that there's a separate class of bikes that are fitted with these menacing-looking tyres. This is known as studded tyre class. The technique to ride these bikes is also different. If you found this video at all helpful, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. It takes me ages to make one of these things, and good karma is very much appreciated. Be sure to follow me on Twitter also, but in the meantime, enjoy Speedway.